let's go ahead and discuss markets and what to do in the various sections of the market with somebody who's been doing this around for almost 2 decades now. Viral Birawala uh, is joining us now from Buoyant. Of course, he's been in the industry at various places, a fund manager, CIO, etc. Now at Buoyant. Viral, good afternoon. Uh, we've been speaking. I remember that there is a case building for a correction, and now we saw a pretty reasonably meaningful one last 3 4 days. How have you been analyzing this? Have you been acting on the downside, buying into the dip? First of all, do you expect it to worsen from here on, or for now it's pretty much done?
Good afternoon, Ajay. So Nifty has gone down or corrected by over 1,000 points since its mid-October peak sometime on 18th October. Now, while that it's only a 5.5% correction, there has been a far deeper correction in some areas, right? Especially like financials, and that is despite very good results. So ICICI Bank or SBI are down 12-13%, and despite very good results and a very good outlook. For now, I think what happened is a few technical factors also led to this steep correction. A lot of bunching up of IPOs, and that takes away money or short-term liquidity from the market. Plus, there was also one large QIP, Macrotech, which was another 4,000 crores. And of course, the FI is tactical play, right? There is some FIIs or a section of FIIs who find China, which is relatively inexpensive as compared to India, which is considered a little expensive. So all these things they bunch up. Normally in the past they have taken 2 to 3 weeks to settle, and we are probably at the end of it, or maybe it already ended today. So that's how I am looking at the markets right now.
That value started emerging after the 4 5 days fall. Which are the areas of the market which look attractive to you after this shakeout, Viral?
So couple of things. One, financials, as I mentioned, especially banks that reported good results where the outlook is good. And see, retail growth has been sustaining. Corporate book, not yet, but retail growth has been sustaining. Free income has been going up. So financials clearly is an interesting area. And other than banks, also one can look at insurance. Insurance, YOY, or even if you look at the 2 year CAGR to take away the COVID impact of last year, that is still in mid-teens, and across maybe except of LIC, across all private sectors now everyone is growing in double digits, and margins have gone up a lot in insurance and likely to sustain. So that's one area of the market that's interesting. The other area is large cap IT. You find mid and small cap IT very expensive, but some of the large cap IT is in an interesting space. So since COVID, since March 2020, large cap Indian IT, or rather the IT index, has largely been following Nasdaq. While the business models are different, but it's probably an indication of the global flows into technology. And over last 6 weeks, this correlation has sort of broken down. After Accenture results in September, when Indian IT did very well ahead of the results, some of the large IT names like HCL Tech and TCS are down anything from 15 to 18%. So that is one more area that's interesting. The last one is telecom. So Bharti took the tariff hike yesterday. It's a steep 20 to 25% tariff hike. It is very likely that Voda Idea and Reliance would follow. So if they do follow, then Reliance might be a very interesting play. Again, a steep correction there. So there is a capex a cycle coming for telecom with option of 5G waves as well as the associated network cost. So there is no option other than to take steep price hikes. So both Bharti and Reliance can be interesting on telecom side. So and these are the broadly the areas that we are looking at right now.
Well, let's discuss Reliance a little more in detail because 5 minutes back, Voda Idea actually announced hikes. So Voda is done, Bharti is done. Geo probably, in your view, should follow soon. How do you see valuations of Reliance at 2350 odd? Uh, it has fallen from 27 plus. Uh, d- and how did you see this deal? I mean, is it positive or negative? Because people are equally divided on the street. The Aramco deal not happening is actually positive. Some are saying there's no urgency to sell stake at 2019 valuation anymore. Some are saying that it's negative. How are you reading it?
So, see, think of it. So, it is a $75 billion valuation, right? And you give or take a few. I mean, depending on how you value the oil and gas business, maybe on the downside, it was probably getting valued at 60 billion or so. 20% of 15 billion, so maybe $3 billion, which is around 1% of Reliance market cap. If you are one maybe 1.2%. So the theoretic construct of that deal not happening is not much. Second, when the deal happened, Reliance was leveraged. Now, not so much. So I don't think it makes much of a difference of the deal going through or not. And Reliance in the AGM also spoke of the fourth pillar of going into green energy, etc. So maybe that's where the energies are, and that's where we might see incremental news flow, that they might get into tie-ups or get investors on that side. So this, if it was a negative in the theoretic construct, it is at most a 1-2% negative. The Aramco deal not going through rather. Again, the petchem margins
Right.
continue to be reasonable. Refining margins are good. So it is a cash flow. So that cash flow remains with the company.
Right. Viral, what about corporate banks? Which one did you say you're liking? Some of them which house a lot of value in them, like say ICICI Bank, Kotak. Their various businesses are doing phenomenally well. Or do you like large cap or largest cap PSUs as well? How are you looking at this lending space? Some are saying NBFC is a great area to be in now because realty has come back.
Sure. So, few things, right? What we like is ICICI Bank and SBI. ICICI Bank, see, the growth is now coming back. They are, industry leading growth. That is one part of ICICI Bank. Plus, when you buy ICICI Bank, you get all the other financial subsidiaries within it, and all of that is doing well. So that's the play on ICICI. And again, at some point of time, as the economy recovers, capex has to come back, and when capex comes back, the corporate book will again start growing. And the mistakes of the past have probably been learned. So the new growth that comes would be much better. And also at the same point of time, the margins are staying. Going down the curve, we don't know. I mean, see, fintechs, etc. If they start taking market share away, it's unlikely to be from the top banks. Rather, it's going to be the smaller banks or NBFC. So that's sort of a macro view on NBFC and not investing there significantly. Among PSU banks, we like SBI, or for a higher beta, maybe Canara Bank. SBI, again, same thing, right? They are doing as well in retail growth as anybody else. Again, when the retail growth is going, it also comes with an increased fee income, and also the credit costs which are there. So the balance sheet repair that had to happen for SBI has happened over the last 6 years. And these are cycles, and these are very long cycles. So 6 year cycle of balance sheet repair is now over, and then you will see at least 2-3 years of very high growth plus a high book value accretion as the balance sheet repair is behind.
How are you approaching the entire auto space? There are some plays, the EV plays is one, the way Tata Motors got revalued or re-rated. Then there are some laggards in the two-wheeler space. The difference between the, who's eating whom for breakfast, that entire commentary is going, and passenger vehicles are struggling. So how are you approaching this space?
So we'll take two wheelers first, and then maybe to the passenger vehicle segment. So in terms of two wheelers, that's the segment which is likely to get disrupted the first, and we will not know who sort of disrupts whom. But what generally happens is that if there is a sector which is starting to get disrupted, market doesn't assign it a lot of valuation. Right? Think of print media, right? Print media in India is still growing, but that entire sector trades at single digit P, and it has been derating for years on end. So some of those print media companies might actually evolve into new age pay as you go companies, but we don't know who. So in the intervening time, there is a lot of period in which the incumbents sort of lose valuations. So in two wheelers, unless you're very sure that this company is going to lead in technology and market, one might want to avoid. In terms of four-wheelers or passenger vehicles, only one listed stock. And the problem with Maruti is that if you look at the history, right, over last 10, 11 years, they need to get the models right. A new model or the refresh has to go right for Maruti to do well. And I think that's where they've lost out over the last couple of years. They haven't had a huge model hit in the past. Secondly, also with Maruti, they seem to be going the hybrid way and not investing enough on EV. So that's again going to play on in people's mind. So great company, nothing wrong, but in the future, I mean, very difficult to model the financials or the numbers that Maruti will come up with. A good model and the whole mindset might change. But for now, Maruti again remains an avoid. To look at EV, there was the third part of your question. How does one look at EV? One is better of just looking at ancillary companies, right? A lot of ancillary companies are now getting orders not only from local EV companies or EV OEM, but from global EV OEM. So companies like that, even if you look at something as simple as forging, right? Bharat Forge is or the class 5 truck orders in US are very good. Plus, they also are working with some EV companies. So, Ramkrishna Forging or a Bharat Forge might actually be an indirect way to play EV.
So Viral, how's your earning estimates, forward earning estimate looking at your portfolio next 2 3 years? Do you see your portfolio earnings to double over the next 3 to 4 years?
From a low base, yes. From a March 21 base, yes. The earnings look to be doubling. So I'll flip it around, right? Indian corporate earnings, right? Corporate profits as percent of GDP used to be 4.7% way back in FY 2008. And over the next 12 years, the margins of India, the corporate India, kept on slipping, and we were at 2.4% even pre-COVID. So some of these margins have started to come back. So now, at least going forward, we should not see what we saw over the last 13 years, where there was revenue growth, but profit growth for corporate India as a whole lagged. We should actually see a better cycle where margin growth is higher than the sales growth. So a 4-year doubling of profits looks possible. You'll just need to account for the high commodity cost or the commodity prices that we saw over last year. So Nifty EPS went up from 550 to 750, but a lot of it was also driven by a commodity, which might not sustain over a longish cycle.
Idea of where to research on where a name could potentially double in the next 3 years. Don't give us a name, but give us hints on where to research on.
That's an interesting one. So, few ones, you could look at pharma, you could look at mid or small cap pharma, right? That has been really out of sight, out of mind for now 16, 17 months. So, mid or small cap pharma, you could, still get a 2x. You will need to get that company very right. Second, also, even in let's say some of those tech names, if a small company and not the IT services, but you will have to probably look at some of the newer names or product companies. There is one SaaS company which got listed on BSE recently. There is another SaaS name, that company which just got clearance from SEBI yesterday. Some of these names, if they get it right, they could give multi-bagger returns over next 3-4 years.
All right, Viral, we'll let you go on that one. Thanks for your time. Look forward to chatting with you more often from here on. Great.
Thank you.
Thanks, Viral.
Thank you.
Time for a short break. On the other side, more market.